I asked Carl if he could do a little introduction for my Carl, and when he was doing it before, I just really enjoyed it.
If I were a rich man, all day long I'd bitty bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. If I were a bitty rich, and when you're rich, they think you really know.
And in some cases, the rich do know. And in this case, the rich man that I wanted to speak about is Warren Buffett. And I thought, as I'm thinking about Warren Buffett, that would be a great introduction. Because as you'll see in a moment, Warren Buffett really knows. Now, most of us know who Warren Buffett is, but I will add, and it's relevant for this story, that Warren Buffett is the world's most successful investor of Wall Street. He will turn 90 years old in August, and as of the end of 2019, his fortune was estimated to be close to $90 billion. So Warren Buffett, he's a man that I admire, not because he's successful only, but because he has lived a life of personal modesty and enormous generosity. He's committed to giving away 90% of his fortune while alive with the Gates Foundation. The largest gift also given by a private individual to philanthropy was that gift that he made. So I was watching a documentary about Warren Buffett recently, and he was talking to young people. He was in a high school class. And it was on my mind because I've been thinking about, well, if a high school invited me to speak, what would I want to say if I was in that role? And I'm thinking about it, as you'll see, because it'll link to our Torah reading, but also because these are the weeks of high school and college and graduate school graduations. And so Warren Buffett, in that documentary, had a key message that he wanted to convey to these young people. He said to them, "Consider the following gift that I would consider giving you. Each of you can buy, I'll buy, a car of your choosing. And when you graduate, that car will be parked at your home for you to drive. But there's a catch. It could be any car you want, but there's a catch. The catch is you only get one car for the rest of your life." Now, if that was the story, he said, if you had this gift, this one car, as he continues to talk to the young people, he says, now, you would be very careful with that precious gift. You would probably read the car manual multiple times before you would put that car into gear. You would want to make sure you knew exactly how to take care of your car. And you would take care of it because it's your only car. You would make sure that you washed it, that the paint would be well taken care of, that you changed the oil regularly. You'd probably get it in early because it had to last a long time. And if there was any rust of any kind, you would address it quickly because you know what happens with rust. If it's not attended to, it'll grow. And so if you had only this one car, the car of your dreams, you would be detail-oriented in the love of that car and the care for it. And then Warren Buffett makes his point. And what he says again to these young people, his graduation speech, is know that, not unlike that one car, you too have received an enormous gift. And that gift is your mind and your body and your spirit, and you only get one. And so know that. how you take care of your body and how you develop your mind and how you elevate your spirit even now will determine how well that gift will last and how effectively your mind, body, and spirit will operate in this life that you're given. And then he says, that's what I want you to hold on to, that your life is a gift, that you will make choices, and the choices you make even now will have a trajectory. If you don't want your body as you get older to be a jalopy, falling apart, if you don't want your mind with no thoughts or stray thoughts, train it now, take care of it now. And so that seemed like a valuable teaching at graduation time, particularly to young people who have younger bodies, to say, in his case, the proof's in the pudding. He'll be 90 years old and he's still working. And so a link to our Torah reading. Im b'chukotai telechu. The Torah reading begins, Bahar b'chukotai. If my ordinances, you walk with them, then you will, and the Torah reading will then provide blessings if you follow my ways, and a multitude of curses if you don't. Another sage who I've had the privilege to know is Rabbi Abraham Twerski, a rabbi but also a psychiatrist and author of over 60 books, and another man who has walked the talk of what he writes of. And to prepare for Bechukotai, I opened one of his commentaries, and he's made an analogy to cars. Im Bechukotai telechu. He says, the key word is if. And that's to say there's a key teaching. And the teaching is that we have a choice. We have a choice to follow God's way or not. And it's fully up to us. There's a reward and there's curses. There are consequences to the choices we make. But free will is ours. If, is the word that's circled. But then he points out that the blessings and curses are often in the plural. And he says, well, how is that fair? After all, those are other people's choices. And he says it's like a car. You can be driving, but somebody else can run into you. You don't have full control over your safety, over your car's longevity. And he thereby emphasizes the blessings and the curses, the longevity, the health. The goodness of our lives is interdependent. We, in driving down the freeway, rely that other people will be responsible as we need to be responsible. For the safety and our welfare depends on each other. And so we celebrate. We celebrate the gift of life. All the more on Shabbat, we're giving pause to know that we each have a mind, a body, and a spirit with which to appreciate our loved ones, with which to appreciate the beauty of our world, with which to appreciate with our senses the beauty all around. Im b'chukotai telechu. Rabbi Twerski then concludes, the Torah is an instruction manual. It is there to teach us values, to guide us to know that the choices are ours and that we are interdependent. Through the study of Torah, through the gathering on Shabbat and linking ourselves to community, we have an instruction manual to help us cultivate and perpetuate the gifts that God has given to us. Ribono Shalom, Master of the universe, if I were a rich man, I am a rich man. We are all rich, not necessarily in wealth, not the kind that the stock market necessarily grades, but if we are able to appreciate the goodness of our lives, who will be in the upper echelons of both gratitude and contentment. May we so live. Amen.